Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Chopping It Up. I'm your host, Ryan Wenndt, a.k.a. The Eagle. Striker, as always, cue the Eagle sound. You should have heard it there. With me today, doesn't need much of an introduction. A lot of people know who it is. Mr. Brad Dove. How's it going tonight?
It's going good.
Now, I'm going to shoot you straight right out of the gate. You must have something to say because you bugged the shit out of me to do this podcast. So just spit it out and get out whatever the hell you want to get out.
I'm just excited to do one. I've seen everybody else's, so it's kind of exciting you doing these podcasts, getting to know us a little bit better. So that's that.
Well, I don't leave anybody out, whether I like them or hate them. Which I probably wasn't a fan of you at first. I'm sure you weren't a fan of me at first. That's typical for me. I think almost everybody hated me when I first jumped in. But
actually, I've come around to really enjoy racing with you. I think it's really really fun getting to know you as a person. It's enjoyable. You're different, but you're very straightforward at the same time.
I'm just a different kind of cat. As are you, because within Chop Shop, the walls of Chop Shop, and a few other surrounding leagues, you have become famous. Not even for a good reason, unfortunately, but you became famous from getting into people and sitting back on it now. I've noticed that. What's the best way to put this? I've noticed that since that became like a trend, like your racing's gotten much cleaner. So I guess the question is, did that bug you, like when that hit the fan, to where it's more of a joke now to when it was serious then? Or is it just something that you were working on getting better anyways?
I've been working at getting better all around. This season coming back and being full time after taking time off, you put in the effort to come back when you're doing it, and you just more focused this time around than I was before. And I was driving aggressive at first when I first came back, and I was like, I gotta tone it back again, and I toned it back, and with the help of Nathan Bigger, he's helped me out a whole hell of a lot with getting the tires to wear longer, just by steering ratio and stuff, and being more comfortable throughout the whole thing. The races are long; they're not one in the first 30, 50 laps; they're one in the last 20. So.
Well, especially here at Chop Shop. I mean, our races are long. I mean, I think we do. I don't remember what the mileage calculator is, but I know, like, minimum we're doing 200 laps, and
it's about 200 miles or something like that.
Right, and that just plays. It plays for a long race. Step aside from racing real quick. Same question I ask absolutely everybody. Where are you from? How old are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm from upstate New York. I'm a truck driver. I'm 33 years old. Owner op, got 5 trucks. Work on them, drive them. We used to go everywhere. Lately, I've been staying more local. It's the same amount of money whether you're out on the road now versus local. So, being home every night, being with the dogs and the old ladies, become more of a priority versus what it used to be, and I realized I missed out on a whole hell of a lot. So, being home more, seeing the dogs a lot more, and the old lady, puts a smile more on my face. And I guess being home every weekend was fun for the longest time, but I've been doing it for 13 years, so it's like time to get home, be home longer, enjoy it more, be able to do more stuff, get more stuff done around the house.
Well, and obviously, I mean, most people know that I owned a fleet of 10 or 15. I can't even remember. It's been long enough. But I know exactly where you're coming from because I've been down that road. And since I moved to Florida, got rid of everything, and I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I hate it's it's more of a job than people think it is. Everybody thinks like, oh man, you just drive around all day. I wish it were that
Yeah,
easy.
I wish it
I
really
mean,
was.
but that being said, let's just let's put something in perspective here. Um, 30 years ago, minus our economy now, let's go back to the Trump economy, which before COVID was the best the country's been in a long time. Um, Even then, truck drivers were making the same amount of money our grandfathers were 30 years ago, the same amount, but the prices has went up. So like, my grandpa used to buy a brand new Freightliner every year, 15 grand cash. A rebuild for an engine, 3 to 5 thousand. If you had to put a brand new one in, 7,500 maybe. Now, I mean, a Cummins you could spend 80 grand on. A Cat you could spend 80 grand on. A Detroit, and we're talking rebuilds, not a new motor. We're
Yeah.
talking about rebuilding the existing engine. And that's, I mean, some of them's in chassis, some of them's out. And a Detroit obviously is the cheapest motor if you get an old enough one. And you might be able to get one of those rebuilt for like 25 if you find the right person. Um, Anyways, that being said, say the money goes back, right, Duff? Or maybe even a little bit better than what it was. Are you going to go back over the road?
I don't think so. I think me and my brother we're a partnership, and we've come to realize that having trucks local, I'm happier in general, and having trucks more local is better for us as a company. We got farmland too, and work on that more during the spring and fall. Because we're a crop farm, and then our beef cows are down yonder in the pasture, so it's better for me to be home, especially with dad getting older and stuff. Being around family's more better for me, I think, than being out on the big road. Being on the big road was fun and dandy for the first 10, 15, 10 to 12 years, and then I grenaded a motor out in Montana, and then that trip home just, I don't know, something changed me. It just it was the drive home. I just had a different feeling versus every other time, and it just, you know, certain things out on the road will just all of a sudden snap and be like, you got to change.
Well, and I would say, like we were talking about, the difference on how easy it is versus, what it actually is like physically, yeah, physically, whatever. It's not much work, but mentally, I mean, mentally, it's so much work. Did you ever run into the mental aspect of it to where like your mind would start playing tricks on you as you were out over the road?
So yeah, I have it's happened, and I was running cattle back when I first started. I do flatbed now, drive in. I do it all now, hopper bottom and all that. But back when I was hauling cattle, doing out for like 3, 4 weeks at a time away from home, I just started hitting roadblocks where I knew it was time to go home. Otherwise, I was literally going to lose it. And it's very psychological out there. Like you're all by yourself in a rig. You really don't have that human interaction, which is why I enjoy it. But there's a certain point that the human brain can only take so much of that before it's going to snap. Like it's just human nature. Even the military guys, I've got a lot of military friends that they go through the same kind of stuff, and you compare a truck driver to a military mind aspect, it's kind of very similar.
Yeah, I know when I was out there, if I'd text my old lady or call her and she wouldn't answer, immediately my brain went like worst case scenario,
Oh yeah.
right? And I mean, just it, like I'm not a jealous person in any way, shape, or form. But like when I was trucking, like that's just when you're gone for so long or you're pushing so hard. I mean, your brain plays tricks on you. So I think a lot of people don't understand the mental aspect. And you were saying you were in cattle. livestock's one of the hardest things to drive. I did pigs. I didn't do cows. I did pigs. Um, you know, you try to keep them all alive, which is theoretically impossible. Um, on top of that, they can only be in that trailer for so long. So you can't stop and just take a shower because you want to take a shower. You can't stop and take a nap because you want to take a nap. You can't stop and, take 10 off because you're 2 hours shy of getting there. If you sit for too long, those animals will die. And then, the butcher or the farmer or wherever they're going is not going to take them. So I like people to understand just exactly what you go through on a day to day, and the difference between going over the road and stuff can mess with you and it sticks with. It almost gives you a form of PTSD. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
Like in a weird way. I wouldn't say it is because I don't want to take anything away from people that actually have PTSD, but in the same sense, it's almost like a form of it. I laid a semi over and I still dream about it to this day. I mean,
I was in Oklahoma, the worst time I ever had driving. So I was it'd be back about 10 years ago now. I was down in Oklahoma, and it's just after they turned the 3 lanes on I-40, yeah, I-40 there. It was turned into 3 lane, and the speed limit was 80 mile an hour. This one's hard to talk about, but I was in the left lane. SUV came all the way from the on ramp over to my lane. I was driving 379 Peterbilt, caught him in the rear corner, literally took the driver's seat, pushed it into the center console. The kid had a suicide note on the passenger seat, and he got what he wanted. It's it's there's certain things out there on the road that just happen out of your control. That it is what it is. You can't change it, but it'll always stick with you. And every time you hop in the truck, you think about it. When you go to bed, you have nightmares about it. My nightmares haven't been as bad since I've been off the road. I feel I have a clearer mind now. I'm enjoying life again. I haven't really enjoyed life since I was a kid. Growing up on a farm, always having to do chores before school, after school. You know that shit takes a toll on you, and you don't have the freedom that everybody else has in the world. And then going right into college, which I went and became a diesel mechanic, and then I was like, why am I turning wrenches when I can drive these things? And you know,
turning for I don't know about you, but for me, turning wrenches calms me down. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I hate doing it when I have to do it, but I love doing it when I want to do it.
oh yeah, there's days when I don't have to turn wrenches, like farm equipment, for example. I don't have to be there turning wrenches, but I do it to help dad and my brother out. That's more my dad and my brother's side. But I'll go turn a wrench on that stuff all day long. But when it comes to the trucks, I dread it every damn day. Like, I gotta go help finish working on one of my driver's trucks tomorrow, and it's like, do I really want to be turning wrenches on a truck on a Sunday? But
What exactly are you doing to it?
well, the spider bearing on the right front, freaking broke where the slack adjuster, where the S cam bearing goes through. Freaking the weld broke right through. So I got to take the spider bearing off. Well, you got to take the hub off to get the spider bearing off, and then might as well do the seal while you're there. And then we got another wheel seal on the other side that decided to go. We found yesterday, so might as well do that at the same time. And that truck's probably that truck was kind of ignored a little bit because it's a really local truck, and um, it does a lot of shit work. It's getting the shit beat out of it. Like right now, we're hauling flatbed and stuff, hauling mulch locally, and are the trucks making a whole lot of money? No, but Are the trucks going to make a whole lot of money on the open market? No, because this is a direct contract with Scott's versus brokered loads, and you know we're looking to get into paving and stuff, and hauling stone and doing more green and hauling cow shit and stuff like that.
Yes. So just to touch base with everybody, what he's talking about is the S cam shaped as an S. When it rolls, it applies brake pressure. In the center of that is a hub with bearings in it, and it's oil sealed. I guess is the best way to explain it to the non-knower.
Yeah,
And the DOT, if they catch any oil on that rim, on the outside of that rim, they will shut you down and make you fix it on the side of the road.
doesn't even
And
have to be on the outside of the rim. It can be on the inside of the brake
right,
tune.
yeah. Well, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to roll under there on the side of the road, unless they got you in a chicken coop, then they might. But most of the time, even run across the scale, they glance, they don't know. But I mean, especially if I know, dude, a lot of them, especially in Oklahoma, they got infrareds now. They'll know what they know exactly what temperature each rim needs to be, whether or not that brake's working.
These DOT places now, they're insane because they can literally, you like out in Iowa a few weeks ago. I rode across scale last time I was out west, and freaking they
On the
got the scale. Yeah, they
which
got the
one?
scale, the one just east of Des Moines. There,
Oh, so you're talking Mitchellville?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
they got the sensors. They can tell what your tire pressures are. They've got the sensors of how much movement are in your tires as they just creep. You don't even have to be rolling
right.
fast. You know, that stuff's insane. And then if you have an e-log, they can check your e-log without you even going in.
Mm-hmm.
And like they have like so much stuff on you already before you even go in to do, like if they want to do a paperwork check, they have just about everything. They're just doing a paperwork check to just do it.
Yeah, and not to obviously make this whole segment about trucking, but one thing that's always irritated the shit out of me is why do they govern trucks? Like, I don't understand. Let the guys work. Leave them the hell alone. They're not a cash cow. That's just it's like going to a truck stop. How many times has dudes asked you for money? Like, it's ridiculous.
Tons, tons.
It's like, buddy, I'm broke. Like, why do you think I'm out here working? Like, the idol, the idol. I can't say
The
ideology.
idle law.
No, the ideology, ideology. Is that right? Ideology,
Ideology, yeah.
ideology. Yeah, ideology behind the perspective that truck drivers are rich is they made money back in the day. There ain't no doubt about it. Those cats made some money back in the day. Nowadays, you might as well be a company driver because if you're not running 10+ trucks, you're not gonna make a penny.
Let's put it this way. I pay myself like a company driver. And I'll give guys a little insight on pay a little bit if you're looking to get into trucking. The year before last, I made 90K, okay? Then last year, I literally made 40K. So that's a big difference. And it hurts when you see it at the end of the year. And it's like, why do I do this? And then
Right.
what adds to the insult is these guys that drive cars, everyday cars. Y'all don't, everybody out there doesn't realize cutting in front of a truck, one car length in front, is not safe, and they do it anyhow.
Well, yeah, these things don't stop on a dime. I mean, especially any of the older trucks that has drums wrapped around it. I mean, if you have a brand new truck with disc brakes, I know they stop a lot better. But I think my last year I did 350 gross, and everybody's like, "Holy cow, yeah, that's awesome!" Blah blah. You know how much I had to give Uncle Sam? You know how much of
A
that I
lot
got?
of
You
it.
know how much of that I got to keep? I mean, I think overall maintenance wise, I spent 175 of it just to
So
maintenance.
So as a company, we grossed over $1.5 million last year, and we gave Uncle Sam about almost half of it.
I believe it. The good thing.
The only thing that saves us is the farm side of it.
Well, I got a dip on me. Um, I wanted to touch base with that very shortly because I hauled hopper bottoms and I worked for a farmer, and he was the third largest hog. Um, he ran the third largest hog confinement in the state of Iowa, and farming. People think farmers make a shitload of money, dude. It all goes back into what they're doing. All of it, every dime, if not more, they're digging in their own pockets. They're getting farmers. Farmers are interesting because you got to both sides of the realm. So, like, I do like this aspect of it because people think truck drivers make money. People think farmers make money. Farmers spend the money before they have to claim it. That is
Exactly.
that is the secret, and that's why people think farmers make so much money. So all those trucks they're driving, the house, even the house they're living on, that's all a tax write off because it's part of the business. So when a truck driver, or excuse me, when a farmer, especially a large farmer, say they do $3 million that year, the yield was great, or 3 to 5 million. They're taking that, they're buying new combines, they're buying new trailers, they're buying maintenance stuff for. I mean, they are blowing as much of that money as physically possible to keep it out of the tax bracket because then they're going to get taxed. They tax the shit out of farmers if they don't. They got to, or they're buying more land to farm. I mean, they're doing every penny of it goes. They're trying not to take. I mean, what do you think? Most farmers probably pay themselves 35, 40 grand a year, somewhere in there. It ain't much.
Maybe you're lucky if you're paying yourself 12.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you're barely getting a penny. I mean, all of it's going back.
Like most farmers up around us, their wife is either a nurse or does something that has good benefits,
Yep.
because the farmer ain't got good benefits. And freaking this year already, looking at the seed and everything, we are already at a loss before the crop goes in the ground. And hopefully the price of crops goes up, but ever since China decided not to, well, we're not really doing business with China right now because of everything going on in the world, unfortunately. But you know, it's that's a long story. But the prices have dropped since Trump's been out of office. Let's put it that way.
Well, and one of the things we should touch base on. What do you guys do? Corn, soybeans?
We're a crop farmer, and then we'd go and do custom harvesting for another farmer locally.
Okay. So, like back in Iowa, just to give everybody a glimpse of a farmer's life, is when they go out and they harvest. So they're cutting down. A combine is a wonderful machine. There's a reason they cost as much as they do, because I mean they'll tear all the corn off the cobs, fills it up in their hopper. They dump it into a trailer. The trailer takes it and loads it in semi. The semi then takes it to either their own elevator or they sell it directly, depending on what the market is. 9 times out of 10, right out of the gate when harvest starts, the prices are fairly high. Almost immediately, sometimes within a day, sometimes within 2 or 3 days, the price will drop over under half because everybody's trying to sell all at the exact same time. So you're forced as a farmer to store it, which is what silos are on farms. And when you store it, you're playing a gambling game then. When do you sell? You're constantly watching the market. It's day to day. It changes all the time. And I don't think anybody understands that aspect of it, that if you don't sell everything that you had the previous year and you don't have the space to store the new stuff, you got to do something with it. I mean, do you trust somebody to put it in their bin? I mean, how many bushels are you gonna throw in there? Or um, and the longer it sits there, You're not making any money on it sitting there. Moisture can get in there. The whole yield can go to waste. I mean, there's so many aspects to it that people. I mean, the stress levels to be a farmer and truck driver are high, and you got both. I mean,
And they're both affected by the economy. You know,
right?
when the economy's in the crapper, farming and trucking's in the crapper. But when the economy's good, they're both good. And like right now is really hard because like it's they're both crap. And then this past season of harvest, like rates were low, okay, but everybody thought, okay, we're going to store this year, right? Well, everybody stored, but the rates still fell off a cliff. Instead of normally like right about this time, rates are going back up, but rates haven't gone back up. They're still on a downhill cliff, and they're about to drop 40 cents on Monday. Like that's a big drop off,
It's
and
huge.
then and it's bad. So I'm going to do a little thing here. If you can support your local farmer, because you know we're just trying to supply for everybody, and do more local work. Don't go with big farmer and big companies.
Yeah, because a lot of big farmers that I know of that I've met, and Iowa's a huge farm state. um, they know people. I guess is the best way to put it. They know people like that guy, the farmer I used to work with, actually went to college with the owner of New Holland. So all of his all New Holland stuff, he gets every bit all that equipment for free. And the reason he gets it for free is A, he's the third largest farmer in the state. B, he wants him to test out all of his products. So if there's any trial and error, he I think the only thing he went out on his own and bought was a Kinsey planter because Kinsey planters are the shit.
Yeah, they are.
And I mean, their trailers are awesome too. I mean, Kinsey makes a good product. There ain't, I mean, but you got to pay for it. I mean, it ain't cheap. But so they go out and test all New Holland stuff. But anyways, a little in the life of a farmer and a truck driver. If you could do it over again, and you were like coming out of high school, would you still do a trucking? Would you still do the farming?
I'd still do the farming, not the trucking. I probably would have stayed turning wrenches longer. Um, there's more money in turning wrenches than there is driving truck. So,
Well,
yeah.
and that's the downside because those a lot of semi or a lot of heavy equipment mechanics will rip you the hell off because it has to be running. It's just like you know diesel used to be cheaper than gas, and it will never see that again. Well,
Nope.
they figured out diesel's a cash cow. Why? I mean, just like taxes were implemented to support World War I, World War II, and they were supposed to go away. Well, see how that went. Still here, and they're getting it from everybody. It's cash cow.
Truckers and farmers are the cash cow of America.
Ain't no joke. Um, let's move forward. 33, upstate New York. You like New York?
It's
I
a
mean,
nice place.
you've been all over the country.
So to compare it to Iowa for you, it's pretty. You guys got more farmland. We've got a little bit more woods. It's beautiful. I live in between the Finger Lakes. I'm actually about 45 minutes from Watkins Glen. I'm 30 minutes from Canandaigua, in Canandaigua, where Tony Stewart had that bad fatality accident. I'm 30 minutes from Weedsport, and then I'm 40 minutes from Outlaw Speedway, which is another dirt track up here. Um, I've got racing all around me. It's nice. Get to have a NASCAR race. Yeah, it's not an oval, but the road course races are kind of fun to go to.
If you could live in any state, would you stay in New York?
No, I'd probably move to Iowa to be honest with you.
I mean, the problem is you got your roots so embedded up there. It's. Could you imagine having to buy land to farm now? You couldn't.
So the price of land out there is a lot higher than it is here, but we're paying $110 to rent per acre, and it's cheaper to rent land than it is to own land right now, with taxes being the way they are and everything. And like the guys that are big farmers, they're gonna lose their ass this year. Like it's plain and simple.
But
But
one thing that no one ever mentions is a lot of these farmers, any of them with a brain, they insure.
oh yeah, you have
And
to.
you have to absolutely. And here's we'll do one more quick tip because no one. I would say most of the people that will watch this podcast, especially in our league, have no idea about trucking and no idea about farming. Very few of them will. So I always like to go in depth with it a little bit. Farmers, they can insure the land that they're farming for X amount of yield. We're just going to do basic here.
So it's based on average of your surrounding area. Like where
Yeah.
your harvest out there is about 300 to 400 bushel an acre
Yep.
corn, where we're average about 140 to 150. That's a big difference on quality of land.
Huge.
And like the quality of land here, it's not bad, but there's times you'll get 170 bushel an acre corn, but your beans are about 100 bushel an acre beans, where we're about 70.
Right. So, well, let's just say me as the farmer, I go to the insurance company and I'm like, hey, I'm insuring this, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, that should produce on an average 100 bushels for the beans. And let's say it does 30 because it was a bad, bad year. You had storms, no rain, whatever the story is, it doesn't matter. The insurance company's still going to pay you for that 100 bushels. But the problem is, I don't know how New York does it, and maybe they've changed it. But I know back when I was working in it, it was a 5-year segment, so they would do the average over the last 5 years, and that's what your number would be. Well, it would only change every 3 years after that. So you can insure the land for the average of 5 years for 3 years straight, same bushel mark, and then after that, it would recalculate and they'd add those previous three to that five, and they'd see what the average is, and it just kind of rolls over like that. No one knows about this, dude. Like, unless you're in it, because I didn't know it until I started doing it,
But
and I'm like,
you're only making 50 cents per bushel on every dollar that you're supposed to make. So the insurance is nice, but it's not profitable in all reality.
it's not, but it can help you break even
Yeah, it
bare
can.
minimum, and that saves that aspect has saved so many asses on so many accounts because, like the guy I worked for, the DNR needed somebody to do it because they were trying to bring more deer and bring the deer population up. So the point was, plant the corn. We'll give you whatever the average is because there was no possible way the bushel mark was going to hit because they wanted them to leave like 10 rows on the outer diameter of it to bring more deer in to eat
But
in that area.
the nice thing is, I don't know about out there, but out here, they'll actually pay you to do that 10 foot
Yeah,
around the whole field.
yeah. Well, and they did.
And then they'll pay you to do a cover crop and all that. It's
Yeah,
just, it's better for the land.
yeah. I'm glad we thought of that to bring that up. Um, so that's awesome that you would choose Iowa out of anywhere. Like, if you could,
My favorite state is actually South Dakota. I wouldn't move there because, yeah, I would
world
move
too
to
much
South.
for it.
I'd move to the east side of or South Dakota because it's got real good farmland. But further west, their farmland kind of sucks. South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, that's my favorite part of the country. Go further west, there's too many mountains, and I've trucked all 48 in my time, and I could pull it up on my Google Maps history and just show you all the red dots. It's covered in red, and it's kind of funny to look back, see where you've been, and see when you were there. It's like, damn, I've been there that long ago.
Well, and everything's changing too over time. Like I tell everybody, if I'm not truck driving, that this is where I draw a line because I love the mountains. I don't like driving a truck through the mountains for
Nope.
obvious reasons. Um, I would say Utah and Idaho are probably like my two favorite. Like Idaho, there's nobody around.
Idaho's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so underrated, dude. Like you will never see grass so green in your entire life than what Idaho provides for whatever reason, dude. I don't know why it's so beautiful, but the whole state's practically a mountain. And then Utah, which I think Lucas lives in Utah,
I
is
think he does.
is any landscape, like background you see on windows with like the sunset or little mountains that kind of looks a little deserty. That's fucking Utah all day, every day.
The salt flats is my favorite thing about Utah. Like it's cool as crap.
The first time I went through there, I was going through the pass, and you could see the water rapids coming down along the road, and there was dudes just drinking beer, tubing down them. I'm like, buddy,
Nope.
I
I need
wonder
to
how
be
long it takes
there.
to go down there.
I need to be there instead of here.
Yeah, I mean that's just awesome. I mean, I'm sure the winters suck though. I mean, Idaho winters suck, especially when you have to truck back and you have to go through Wyoming. Wyoming don't clear the roads when it snows.
No, they
Like,
closed the road.
yeah, well, I've been stuck on fucking 80 many times through that damn place. Anyways, let's get into the racing aspect of things. This is a podcast for racing. However, how'd you get into it? Like, what was your first initial like? I like this.
Well, I used to race four cylinder super stocks up here, as we call them. Raced them, got a championship in that. Then I went to Sportsman Modified Northeastern. That's why I'm always trying to get a Northeastern Modified League in here. And I ran that. Got too expensive, and I decided let's try iRacing. And I always did the sim console on PS4 and all that. And I've watched enough on YouTube and Facebook, and I'm like, damn, I need to get into iRacing. So that's how it all started. And then I
How
didn't
old
win
were
right
you?
up. Oh,
Like how old were you when you started taking an interest in racing? Just racing in general.
well, racing in general, probably ever since I was born. uh, I literally was. We used to have 4 wheelers. My grandfather's 4 wheeler, and I actually went out back in the pasture when we were milking cows and just made a dirt track out of it. And ever since, it's just been like um, fun. I've always had a like for racing. Used to watch Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt battle when the racing was good on NASCAR, and you know I'm a Hendrick guy. I'm a 24 guy. Always been a Jeff Gordon fan. Say what you want about it, but he was a hell of a race car driver.
You and Church both, man. I hated Jeff Gordon. He always came off gay to me. Not listen. Not that I have anything against gay people because I don't. But like, it was a different era, obviously, and it's because he enunciates his words. I think everybody's ever said that. Like he speaks very clearly and tries to be as intelligent with his conversations as he can be. But he was fast, dude. There ain't no doubt about it. I don't think he can hang with him now. If he were to get in the car,
If he
but I
were to
think
get in a car now, I don't think he'd be able to hang with him. But during his era and time, he was good for what he did. He was good on dirt when he was on dirt. He When he ran the Babe Ruth car in the Xfinity Series, he was fast right off the bat. He had a good career. I'm actually a William Byron fan right now. Kyle Larson's close second. And I hope he does great at Indy. Seeing him run second fastest in that practice is awesome, but not all the guys have their cars tuned to race trim right now.
well, and I don't think he does either. I mean, I listen. It's what day, like Days of Thunder. He goes out, smokes that lap, and he's like, "All right, we'll see how you do in a crowd." Kyle Larson can adapt instantly. That's
Oh
what
yeah,
makes him. That's what makes him so good. When he won the Triple Crown, I mean, that's when Tony Stewart's like, dude,
I actually got to meet Tony Stewart at Black Rock. Well, it's now Outlaw, and he's such a chill guy. Guy by the name of Kevin Ridley. He's a really good friend of his, and he actually was the main mechanic for SRX this past season what they ran, and he's gotten me to meet Tony Stewart a few times, and it's cool to meet a NASCAR driver and see how down to earth they are, and see see the real side of them, except for besides what you see on TV. You know.
I'm glad you had a positive interaction with. I've met him twice, and he's been a prick both times. I'm not a Tony Stewart fan. I met Tony Stewart twice. I've met Casey Kane and Jeff Gordon both once at Dingus, as a matter of fact, and those dudes are hilarious. I mean, Jeff Gordon's one of the coolest cats you'll ever deal with, but I am not a Tony Stewart guy.
So Jeff Gordon used to have a house up on the other side of the lake of where I live. I never got to meet him. I've seen the house before. Met his one of his house people, and they told me how cool he was and all this. And I actually one of the times I met Tony Stewart right after the race, he took us out to the bar, and freaking we just slammed beers, and nobody had to pay for drinks at the bar that night.
That's awesome. I mean, he got his name, dude. He's made such a name for himself that I mean, that dude, that dude's gonna be rich for the rest of his life.
Oh
Obviously.
yeah.
Um, you were talking about, driving all the time, being home on weekends, and then, obviously family's important to you, which obviously I think family's important to everybody in some aspect. Where's the racing fall into place with all that? I mean, are you making it more of a priority than you have in the past?
I'd say so. The old lady's been more laid back toward it. Um, I might be getting a glare. I don't know. She's been more laid back, letting me do more racing and being very supportive. She asks where I finish a lot of the nights and asks about how I've done. She's a hell of a woman. She always makes sure I'm well fed and takes care of the dogs, the kids. She's a hell of a woman. Um, she stepped into my life in a hard time. Went through a breakup with my son's mother, and she's been there ever since. Very supportive. She can be a pain in the ass like every other woman out there, but she's got my back 90% of the time.
Well, I mean, you got to have support outside of it, and the reason I asked is because obviously here at Chop Shop we have structured a structured community. Is the best way to put it. And I know you were wanting to be a part of that top tier structure. So we have admins; they're all in levels, and we have members, and the admins kind of do the day to day stuff. And we have two dictators, and they're not dictators. They let us.
They let us run the league better than a lot of It's more of a they're the owners that make the final decision, but the final decision's not 100% on them. Like, yeah, they control the finance side and everything, but this league's more run by the community than anybody else.
Well, and I think I would like to pick your brain about Chop Shop, especially just Chop Shop in general, because I know you want to be an admin. Obviously, I think there is forces that are against the idea of you being an admin, and I think there's forces that are with you to be an admin. And I'm sure it's no different than anybody else, obviously, because I know that I did not make any friends when I first got in here. Obviously, I think I've proven myself since, but it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There's times where you gotta make decisions that you don't want to make. And I try to be as, like you said, I'm a blunt person. I'm straightforward. So I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm going to tell you if I think it needs to be said in a professional manner, I'll do that. If I think you can take it, then I'll tell you straight up. I think obviously you and I've had disagreements,
Yep,
and,
sure have.
and it's the a few hours later or the next day, it's done, over with. We're good.
We're laughing, joking. It's just like working with
Right.
my employees. You can yell and scream at them 1 minute, next minute you're having a beer with them.
Well, it's just I think in our community, and this is like the corporate side of it, right?
Yep.
I just it's business.
Hmm.
It's not personal. And I think when somebody's hard on you, and this has taken me a minute to even figure out here. Stryker's been hard on me. John's been hard on me. Mark's been, Jerry's been. I mean, a lot of guys have been hard on me, and it's you have to take it as constructive criticism. They're not saying it because they don't like you. They're saying it to help you.
They're saying to make you a better person, better at
Or
what
better
you're
driver,
doing. Yep.
right? Better admin, whatever it is. What where do you see yourself at Chop Shop in the next year or two?
Well, with me over the past couple of weeks, past couple months, I should say, since I've come back after my time away. Like I took time away because of the way I was running was too hard. I was racing way too hard against guys. I was racing against guys I should have never been racing against in the way back of the field. Like I'm about an average driver. I would put myself at, and I should in the fields that we have in the Cup Series and trucks at the cookie cutter tracks. I should have a top 15 plus car, all day long. Unless I screw up, I should. Um, I'm not a back of the pack guy anymore. I don't feel. I feel I've moved up the ladder a little bit. Points show that a little bit in the Cup Series side right now. But I would like to be helping with running the league a little bit more. Maybe in the top 10, top 5 more. Um, just helping the community out more over at Chop Shop, and same with Heart to Heart. Now that I'm running more over there full time as well, um, I just want to be more helpful to the league instead of just a normal driver every day.
Let me let me ask you the corporate question first. Let's just use Heart to Heart Chop Shop as an example. If you were to become an admin in Heart to Heart, would your loyalty, and then say Chop Shop gave it to you later on or wanted to give it to you, but they're like, hey, we need you 100% of the time, all the time. That's what we need.
My
Which route are you
loyal
going?
my loyalty lays with Chop Shop because I'm an OG over here, and they've taken very good care of me. Striker and John have welcomed me in here from the very first time I came in. They took care of me. Um, they didn't have to. They put up with a lot of bullshit for me, getting in accidents and stuff, and pissed a lot of people off. I pissed Andrew Payne off a few times, when he was coming up to lap me. I'm not the easiest person to pass when I'm getting lapped. I'll race you just like I'm racing for 10th place or whatever position I am. I'm not going to give it to you easy. Um, and lately I've been more, I guess, easier to get around sometimes. Like I'll race the leader hard, but second, third, I'm back. I'm gonna let them boys go. Um, unless I'm just battling for that one lap. If I'm a couple laps down, you're going to get around me easy.
I I mean, are you noticing better finishes though when you do that?
Oh yeah, I'm lately when I'm not pushing hard right off the bat, I'm at, I'm seeing better finishes most of the time. Then there's some times that the unthinkable happens. It's not your fault, or like Bristol just past weekend. we were in the trucks, I believe, right? Yeah,
Yep.
we were in the trucks, and I was running by myself to mind my own business, and I just lost it off the corner, and freaking, I couldn't control it. It's going to happen, and that ended my night. And you know, I was running pretty good at the time. I wasn't in tail of the field. It was a caution fest, but most of our races that go green flag, I have better finishes at.
Uh, um, I mean, I see. I would say you and I are probably on the same level, drive skill wise now. And dude, like I took a long break, and it's the game or the simulation has changed so much since 2017 and 2020 that I mean I feel like I mean I've made more strides than a lot of people, but I mean I still had more of a feel for it before, than somebody brand new coming into it. But I think you said you're most of the time you're top 15. I like to think myself I could get top 10 almost every race if I stay away from the uncontrollable instance, which is not easy. I
Nope.
mean, in any way, shape, or form, it is not. It's you're trying to avoid what's in front of you, and you got to pray to God that the guy behind you is paying attention to what's in front of him, because that doesn't happen too often. And I would say for you, this is my opinion. Obviously, take it how you want it. Is the only thing you need to back up on now are your plate tracks, because you're fast at plates. There ain't no question about it. Like you can get to the front whenever the hell you decide to. I think you just push too early. I think it needs to be like within 5 laps. Within 10 laps, it's like, okay, I'm going to the front. And then within 5 laps is when you hook up to the bumper and you don't lift. You know what I mean? Instead of doing it right out of the gate.
That cherry race we did a few weekends ago, I went out of the gate for a little while, and then I just went in conservative mode after I used my fast repair, and I got involved in an accident during that, and um, it happens, it's restricted plate racing, and you know, I got involved in an accident there, and I went to the back, and I didn't think I was going to even have a top 5 or top 10 finish there, and somehow I got up to 7th. I made it up to 4th, and then I lost the draft with no front end.
I you know I love the heart to heart league because I think it's our level of racing where we're currently at, and obviously with league racing, it makes you better. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the drivers are better. You can push them the way you want to push them. If you want to pinch somebody, you can pinch somebody. In officials, you can't pinch anybody. If you do, that guy's just going to come up the track and hit you anyways. I
Yep.
mean, it's just how it is. You got to give too much room. So the best form of attack on officials, get in the lead and stay in the lead, because then they got
Or
make a
if you're in back, just ride him back. Don't even force it to the
yeah,
front
just
because you're going to get wrecked.
right. Unless you have a 4.99 safety rating, there's no point in pushing it. I mean, or see that's the thing. Even with especially Chop Shop, I think Chop Shops it's the 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 diversification there with skill levels is so drastic that I don't want. I'm not pointing fingers, but there's dumbasses and there's people trying to learn, and then there's really fast guys, and then there's really clean drivers that aren't fast. And I mean, in a 20 or even 30 car field, they get mixed up everywhere because everybody has their strengths. I'm horrible at qualifying, but I can get in the top 10 every single time as long as I avoid all the mayhem that comes with it. The problem with that is am I really faster than those guys?
They're just
Or
burning their stuff up.
right. Or am I just smarter than those guys with the run? And that's where I struggle with racing because when you get up there with Nate, you get up there with John, you get up there with Stryker, you get up there with
Your heart starts beating out of your chest. That's
yeah,
for damn sure.
you get up there with Crown over, all those guys that are wicked fast. You can run them bumper to bumper, pinch them, side swipe them. Um, what I mean, you can race them dirty, or you can race them clean and aggressive, if that makes any sense to most people. And they will race you the exact same way you're racing them, but you're not going to lose. I mean, accidents happen, obviously, but you're not going to get into a wreck of it. That's when you start figuring. That's when you need to start figuring out. I think, like right now with you and me, especially, is when we need to start searching for speed. We got the long pace thing down, I think, for the
Yep.
most part. We got wreck avoidance down. I mean, there's only so much you can do to avoid a wreck, obviously. We need to work on finding the speed so we can qualify up in the top 10 and we can stay in the top 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That way, when you first take off, this is a lesson that I've learned and I've noticed that if Stryker qualifies fifth and he's like, hey, man, I'm going to let these guys burn their stuff up. Well, what if say Nate's in the lead or Crown over or whoever, and they're like, we're going to set the pace stupid fast. We're going to do qualifying laps right out of the gate. Well, Stryker doesn't want to do that, but he has to do that because the guys behind him's going to try doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a choice. So you need to match your tire wear with whoever's in front of you. And that's something I've learned, because normally I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to fall back. I'll let these guys go, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you got to do twice as much work trying to get back up there. I mean,
so let's use California example. I was running up front with Nate, Stryker, and them, and they weren't running that hard right off the bat, but we were running decently hard. And I was racing around them very respectfully, and I got turned by Nate on accident. It's that coming off for I was upset at the time, but you get over it. He apologized right off the bat, like he felt so bad, and he was just like, "I feel so bad for you, turning you. You were doing so great." And once that happened, it was like it was hard as hell to get back up to even the top 10 there, and it it's a wide track you could pass, but could you really pass that much though?
dude, I don't remember what the track was, but I qualified like fourth. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be good racing now because I'm not around all of them. Nate was on the inside of me. Started first gear, spun his tires, ran right into me, right out of the gate. Tore my car up, tore his car up. The only difference is he's better than me, and he ended up winning the race. Started in the back, got his car fixed, blah, blah, blah. Me, no. He's just smooth, man. He's good.
He
But
is.
it's funny because me and him joke about, like, every time we're near each other, Nate races me hard and I race Nate hard. And we have a mutual respect, obviously, but for some reason, one of us likes to run into the other. I don't know why, because he's a clean driver.
Yeah.
It just happens. We're like magnets. And then back to the pushing it too hard. And this is when I really noticed. This is Bristol. This last Bristol race, I qualified sixth. I was right behind John. I'm like, I'm just going to cruise. Well, my idea of cruise and like Stryker's idea of cruise is like 2-second difference. And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I didn't push it nearly as hard as I should have, and I think I held Day up quite a bit, and I didn't mean to. I was just trying to run my own line, which Day's a good dude. I'm glad I wasn't the one to end his day because it seems like I always do for him. But it's like I need to get to the point to where you got to push. Yeah. You have to know when to push and when not to push. And I think I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's where you and I both are. We got to figure out when we're going to push and when to save tire the right way and work on finding the speed to stay where we're at so we can advance later on.
Yeah, it's a fine line you got to walk to. Like, where were we running? New Hampshire. Guys are pushing really hard, and going hard. But the longer you run, you start picking them back off. And yeah, that was a caution fest for a while, but I ended up with a top 7 there, and you know it it all was because of strategy and not pushing hard really at the beginning and tearing my car up.
I got third that race.
You did.
Yeah, did pretty good. Man, for some reason, man, when there's a track that involves braking, I excel. Half miles, I got 50-50 shot. I mean, where'd we go the week before? Or not the series before in the trucks. Where the hell were we? It was a half mile. I know it was. I can't
Uh,
remember where it was though.
Chicago.
It was Chicago, right? So I got eighth, I believe, at Chicago, and I even led laps, but I wasn't pitting like when everybody else was down. I'm like, I'm gonna run this bad boy dry. I ran it so dry, Dev, that on pit road entry, I ran out of fuel. Like, I mean, I bone dry,
I believe it.
and then I had to run like hell to catch up, and I got to John. And John's like, "Oh, look at who wants to come play," which is it's a compliment in my eyes because I'm up there with him. And I got underneath of him, dude, and he pinched me so hard, dude. I got spooked a little bit, and I even hit the apron, and I really had to lift to stay off of him. But he told me, he's like, "Dude, I wouldn't have done that just for everybody." He goes, "I trust you, so I did it." I was like, "Well, pat myself on the back. He trusts me. The first time for everything around here."
Gaining their trust once you get up there and start racing around them more, you'll have more of their trust. But like we're still earning their trust up front because we're not there. Like we've earned the guys' trust in the back. Now we're in that 5th to 15th area. If we get top 3 to 5, we're doing great in our minds. And we're in that area that we've gained their respect. Now we got to move on to the next level.
Right. Yeah. It will. And I would say anybody that ever wants to race with Chop Shop or join us, like earning these guys' respect is not easy.
Nope.
In any way, shape, or form. If you go too easy on them and you're like, "Oh yeah, just pass me," they're gonna be like, "Why are you even wasting your time here?" And if you race them too hard, you're gonna be called an asshole. So it's a weird dynamic, man. It's the strangest thing I've ever encountered out of most leagues. That it, and I think going forward, like heart to heart, starting
May.
4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, somewhere in there, you've raced with them. You know how these guys run. You know, you have an idea of what moves they're going to make. I haven't.
I've got the respect too.
Yeah, you've earned their respect already. I'm running the full series with them next week or next year, and I know these guys from broadcasting. They love me as a broadcaster. That's great. That's awesome. But they haven't ran with me yet. So I'm obviously I'm gonna be on my toes, but I ain't there to finish second either. Like that ain't my style. So I think I'm eager to see what you're going to do over there because I think you have a shot at winning a championship. I truly believe that. I think you're progressing really well. What is what in the next? Let's say in the next year, are you? I mean, is the goal to race as much as you possibly can to just because, like we said, we're in the 5 to 15, right? The only way to get there is more seat time. It's the only way we're going to get faster. And if you're not putting in the time, you're not going to get there. So what's the plan to get there? Let's say by next year.
Well, right now I'm racing as many nights as possible that I can get away with without getting murdered.
Yelled at.
uh, she puts up a lot. Like I race Monday dirt, freaking Tuesdays trucks. Um, Wednesday I'm on road course now, trying to upgrade my craft on road courses, which I'm I'm struggling to get to C class, but hey, they're fun cars to run. I'm working on that craft. Um, my dirt craft on different cars is better than the late models and
That's
sprint
everybody,
cars.
dude.
And
Everybody.
my craft on the 358 modified is phenomenal. You put that me in one of them, I'm in top 2, 3 in any official that we're running or any hosted session. Um, then jo- Thursday's my open day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm all booked. So right now I'm racing as much as possible. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up my free day and race Thursday. I think I need to keep that so I don't burn out. Um, if we, depending on what Chop Shop does, I'm going to follow their lead a lot on what they decide to do and how many series and stuff. But I'm also going to try to fill. I'm probably going to keep at least 4 days of racing in my schedule.
I got. If I race dirt, which I rarely do anymore. Believe it or not, I used to be really good at dirt. I taught Church a lot, and Church is one of the best dirt drivers in our league. One of the best, because I know Bodnot, if he listens to this, he'll throw a fit.
Oh
Corey
yeah,
Bodnot's he's a bad man in a dirt car. Oh,
he is.
he's good. And a lot, Brian Warner is, Coke is, or Croak, not Coke. Croak is good. But I mean, that's all they do. But I got Thursdays are my only days off. like,
Yeah, it's like me right now.
but it's like I try to do as much as I can until 7. Then at 7:30, it's me time. Whether it's 7:30 to 7:30 in the morning or 7:30 to midnight. I mean, that's 7:30. Ryan's done. Ryan's going to the rig. Ryan's hanging out. Unless it's slow, then I'll be in here at 4 or 3 or whenever the time is. Just a little tit tat for advice. If you want to keep her happy, just do what you can up until practice
That's what
session.
I do.
Be like,
Uh,
this is my listen. I'll fold the goddamn clothes. Come 7:30. Brad's clocking out, and he's going to a second job.
well, I normally clock out about 6:30. That way, I start getting in the zone a little bit,
Yeah.
and especially if it's the Cup Series, I take the Cup Series more serious than any other of the leagues right now. And then, like, I'm not really in the running for anything in the chop shop trucks because I came in late. Um, and like the dirt, I get in the rig about 7 o'clock, and then that's go time to start focusing. Um, I I've become more. My gaming normally starts about 6:37. Like start to clear your mind, get in that mind of it's about to go time.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I mean, it's so hard to be in such a competitive group to I mean, because nobody. I mean, we do it for fun, but I mean, it's just like real racing. You've done real racing. The second you strap in, you're not doing it for fun anymore. You're doing it to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. Can we beat Nate? Not right now. Hell no. Can we beat Stryker? No. Can we beat John? If John has a bad day, yeah. But if he's having a good day, it's not
No.
going to happen. Crown over, it's not going to happen. These guys are stupid fast. They're good, but if we just keep our nose to the grind, I think
We'll be there.
eventually, one of these days.
The nice thing is you've got Striker helping you in your corner. Striker helps you. John helps you in your corner.
John
Nate
Stryker and Nate.
Nate helps you a lot. I back when I first started, Striker and John. Striker mainly helped me. Andrew Payne tried to help me, but Andrew Payne didn't help me much. Like he was giving me ideas what to do, but I wasn't getting the coaching that I am from Nate. Nate's like my number one guy for questions. I rely on him, like because I know he's truthful. He's always if I got a question about anything, he's there to help. He don't race dirt, so it's a little bit more difficult. So I lean on Church and um, Kobe. Kobe's I gotta give him a lot of props to helping me. Church and him, I rely on, but with me, Church getting into it on dirt a little bit, Church hasn't really talked to me too much. But you know, it's very competitive. You're competitive, but you're trying to have fun, and it's at the end of the day, it's we're doing it for fun, and but you also don't want to be out here wasting your time.
Who do you think like your biggest competition is or rival is right now?
Hmm. Well, I'd have to say there's two of them. Uh, my competition I really want to beat every week, it'd be you. Um,
You know, it goes both ways.
if I'm near you and I'm battling with you, I'm probably going to run you a little bit harder than everybody else around me, because you know we just me and you have bounced that competitive ness off each other, even in the late models. Like we'll run each other hard, but we do it with respect. And like Church is another one. He's in our category, and you know we're always around each other. And when you're racing around each other, you know what each other are kind of going to do, and we've got the respect to where we can go ahead and run on each other's doors, where we're learning to be better up front, to get up front. But I think us three as a group, we're going to move to the front together. Because we race each other clean but with respect. And the one that I have the biggest trouble with as a true rival that has pissed me off the most.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a rival, just somebody that you're like, I gotta beat this person.
That'd be you.
It's me. I appreciate it. I got three. John's number one. I gotta beat John every week. That's my
Oh,
number one.
Jerry.
Jerry's good. See, I got John. My second one's Chris Roberge, and you're my third one. You three guys are the guys that I'm like, and I'll pick you off. Like I'm whoever's in front of whoever, you know. So if you're in the back or reverses, I'm like, all right, we gotta get around this son of a bitch. I get around him. I'm like, all right, where's the next asshole at? It's gonna be 5 cars up, 10 cars. I don't care where they're at. I'm going after that particular individual. I don't care about anybody in between. I get around that person. John's always going to be the first truck, you know, up front. So I mean, he's always the last one. Typically, I got to pick up. But I know Chris Roberge will go up front every single race if he stays out of trouble. I know he's got that long run speed. You're kind of my maverick. You're my wild card. I don't know what you're doing, you know. So like that New Hampshire race, I was like, Dove, dude, get the fuck out of my way. And you're like, dude, I'm saving tire. I'm like, well, I'm not. You know, like you're slowing me down. Just let me around you because you're being a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
You took my line away from me. I knew what you were doing, but I was like, dude, the guys in front of you are going away. Like I gotta go now. And then John, you never know with John, dude. John's a wild card too at times. Like most of the time, he's aggressive out of the gate though.
John, I like racing around John. John will race you hard, but with respect. I'm gaining a little bit more of his respect, but he'll race me really hard because of what I did at the beginning. I feel when I first started league racing, um, I used to cause a lot of cautions and piss a lot of people off. Like I drove over my head a lot, and it pissed Jerry off a few times, especially at a track in Iowa, and he jumped my shorts so flipping bad. It was kind of it's hilarious to laugh at now, but then you're like, "Fuck, Jerry's an asshole."
Well, see, and I'm like you. I'm points racing now. Like I'm trying to get to that point to where they're like, oh, Doveson, I think you're almost in almost
I'm
if not in the
sitting
top 10.
tenth or
Yeah, so
11th.
so you're 10th or 11th in the Cup Series, which irritates the hell out of me because I know I should be up there too. But one bad race can ruin it. I mean, can ruin your points. And I had a few bad races. I was coming back, and then I missed that one race. But anyway, that's nor here there nor there. Anyways, what people don't understand that I wish they did is the incidents. And this is where you know, obviously you were like, hey, I'm dialing it back. Is you get a bonus point for having 0x at the end of the race. It's possible that people do it every single week. I try to do it and still be aggressive at the exact same time. And I think that's made me a better driver. So anybody watching this, any race you do, if you get a 0x, you'll get an extra point. If you're not into the points, that's fine. Just remember, there could be somebody around you that is. So at least have that much dignity and respect for your fellow drivers. There's no, when the yellow comes out and you pass 50 cars that's all piled up in, you know, in a hole, iRacing's going to let every, hey, get out of here. I don't know why the hell they moved me down there. I'm just going to do this. What was I saying? Lost track. Oh, instant points.
Instant points, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a huge pile up and the yellow comes out and you fly through it and you make it through it without, iRacing's going to let every single one of those drivers back in front of you because the yellow already came out. So the whole not braking when you see smoke or whatever, even if you were to lose 2 positions, whoop-de-doo, there's going to be cars up there in an accident that has to go to pit road to get fixed. You're going to gain positions either way. I think that is the biggest thing I could stress to anybody that's new in the league or even racing in their own leagues. If there's a yellow, brake, man. You're not losing anything. All those guys that are involved,
they're going for damage repair.
Yeah, they're going to be messed up. The guys behind you, they could, yeah, sure, they could pass you if that yellow's already out. They're going to put them right back behind you. I don't understand the aspect of we're not racing to the green. That's 20 years old. Like they don't do that no more. It's not a thing. So I wish more people would be more considerate because I mean I hate slowing down and then just to get blown through. And my cousin is a perfect example of not using his brakes during yellow.
That's true.
I like him to death, but dude, he will blast you and be like, "Oh, I didn't even see him." Bullshit. You were trying to get in front of him because you thought you'd gain another spot. Well, guess what, asshole? You're not. They're putting you right back behind where you were to begin with. So it's a risk that ain't worth taking. I think you need to keep doing what you're doing. As for the admin thing, persistence is key. I think.
Working at it.
You got to show up so they know they can depend on you. B, you can't play favorites. John is a perfect example. I don't know how many times strikers voted against John. You know, John, if anything, John probably gets it worse than everybody. So there's no favoritism, obviously. So I would just keep doing what you're doing and pitch in when you can.
I don't have any favorites of who we race with. I respect everybody equally. Now, off the track, my favorite, Church has got a weak spot. You know, me and Church will chill in the chat, or Nate will chill in the chat. Like, I think we've created a bond. Most of us have created a bond, even you. Like, we've created such a bond. Like, it's like a second family. If we ever have a situation where we got to talk about our problems, we've got each other and we're there for each other. Like, we do stupid stuff and help each other out in different ways. Like, the church's mic is getting ready to go out in the mail tomorrow. Monday. And I ain't doing anything, don't expect anything in return. Just, he's a good friend and, helping a friend out. I got it for free, so I'm giving it to him for free.
Dude, I've given him like an entire $3,000 computer.
Nice. You
I
can help
still
me
got.
out with my next one.
I know I still got to mail you the CPU, but I'm broke right now. So
I'm actually hoping to upgrade again on my wheel and pedals in the next couple months. That's my next step.
yeah, that was going to be my next question. What's your setup?
Well, it's right now I got the Logitech G29. I went back to my old wheel because I broke the spring in the other one. Um, and I got the Logitech pedals. Um, I want to go. I think I'm going to go back to Fanatec. I had a Fanatec. I really didn't like it. Now I'm thinking I'm going back to it.
If this is my opinion, if I were to do it again and reorder everything, I would probably go with a Moza, honestly.
Really?
They're cheaper, same quality. That's Nate runs a Moza. I think he has an R7 or R8. I was going to go with the R9. The reason that I didn't is because you have more options for like wheels with Fanatec, because obviously Fanatec's been around longer, but Moses, their prices are better. They ship within the U.S., so I think their shipping's quicker, and eventually they're going to come out with more wheels. It's just a matter of time, obviously.
Well, my thought was I'm I'm between a Moza, the Fanatec again, which I got rid of, and the the redoing my other Logitech with the um what the hell one is that, the direct drive. I broke the spring in that. Maybe I'll just redo that one.
Which route
Um
would you go for pedals?
um my pedals that I have on that setup are different than the ones I'm running right now. I went back to my original setup last couple weeks, and I had it was an off-brand one. Nothing spectacular. Let me see if I can find them again. Um, they're not sitting in front of me. Oh, what were they? Choo, 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 choo. And hopefully we'll have some new paint schemes coming.
So you're going to go with the old pedals that you used to run?
Yeah, I loved them. Where the heck are
See, most of the time people say either Husenfelds or Acetex.
they? Yeah, they were Ace Techs.
Buddy, those aren't those aren't off-brand, man. Those are expensive ass pedals. They're good
Well,
pedals though. Colby's got them. Stryker's got them. There's only two people that I know that run them. I guess the brake pedal's really, really, really stiff though.
no, they're no, the one I had weren't Ace Techs. They were Sim Tech Pro.
Hmm. Sim,
Here, they were the Pro Pedal GT Simtrex T.
Simtrex.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense. No, those are good pedals too.
Yeah, I got a. I should
See,
just swap them over. I just ain't got the time right now with doing all the truck work and stuff to screw around with my setup. I've got two different stands. One stand's way over there, and by my old lady's computer, and this one they alternate. The old
yeah.
lady likes to play certain things. Like she'll play trucking sim when I'm on the road. So
What's triple monitor, single monitor,
I'm
viewfinder?
so I got a dual monitor. My second screen is basically all my extra stuff that I want. Um, my sim stays mainly on one monitor, but it's a it's a 35-inch TV.
You're run on a TV.
Hell yeah, I am.
So, church, if you're listening to this, you have no more excuses. I mean, he's on a TV and a single screen. I mean, TVs are slower FPS. That's why people use monitors, and the graphics are typically better on a PC monitor versus his single monitor, and he's still side swiping people. Just saying, guys. You don't sideswipe people nearly as much as he does.
Nope. Uh,
So that's I think Cole.
I would
I think
like to go
somebody
to a
else is on
triple
a single
monitor.
monitor. Caleb's on a single monitor too, and Caleb's good.
I would like to go to a triple monitor one day. It's just I ain't got the room right now. Um, once in the next year I plan on buying a house and stuff. Hopefully after the election and stuff, things change a little bit in the economy, but that will decide whether I buy a house and have my own room to do whatever the heck I wanted.
Buddy, I live in a trailer, and we made my own room. And this is like, obviously, I showed you earlier, but little AC unit, my flag. Here's just a naked wall over here. I mean, it's nothing fancy at all in any way, shape, or form. But my wife doesn't have to look at it. She doesn't have to put up with me being in the living room. It's being loud next to the kids' room or anything like that. So I'm going to do a cloud ceiling up top, so you'll see. Put my finger, a strand of LED lights with like clouds kind of floating in there. Probably do one on that corner too.
So
The trophies
there's
back here.
I live in an apartment. There's an upstairs of this. The kitchen's there. My living room is I can literally touch my couch right now. My old lady's computer is across the room. The big old 75-inch TV sits over there so I can watch
That
the
takes up a
race.
ton of room too.
It does. And it's just like it's just too cramped. Plus with the dogs, they would knock crap over if I had a triple monitor right now. So the single monitor works. It's wide enough that I can see enough stuff that I need to see. Is it fast enough? Not always, but it gets the job done.
You know what a lot of people do down here in Florida is they'll put a mini split in their garage. They'll throw their rig in their garage. I mean, summer times turn the AC on, winter times turn the heat on. Dude, you can get a mini split on eBay right now for $500. It's like 12,000 BTU. Obviously, if it's a huge garage, that's a different story. But if it's small, you guys have got basements up there, don't you?
And not in our apartments, but in our houses, yeah.
Right. So I mean, that's you get a house with a finished basement. There you go too. So yeah, big things to come for you.
Yeah, it'll be nice once I get triple monitors. Like I see everybody else's, I see yours, I see Strikers, Johns. It's pretty cool to see them all, and you just get ideas of how to build your rig a little bit better each time.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I've said it. I've said it once. I said it 1,000 times. When I was doing mine, dude, I showed the list like John Striker, whoever was knew what they were talking about. Obviously, I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this setup? What do you think about that?" And I just kind of ran with it. If it wasn't for Striker, I probably would have. I probably would have bought more accessories for my rig. And then he reminded me, like, "Oh, hey, man, what's your graphics card like?" That was $2,000 because I got the 4090, and then I ended up updating my motherboard and RAM and processor. So church is getting all my old stuff, which runs great. I mean, I didn't have a problem. I just couldn't run. I mean, here I'll show you. So that's signature stream right now. Just doing a little support, but that's a 32-inch curved monitor. Then there's another one. Then there's another one. And up top, here, turn that on. Up top is a 32-inch flat.
Holy cow, you got 4 monitors.
Yeah, here. How do I take this off? Can't take it off. But yeah, I got 4. There's your face.
That's
1,
insane.
2, 3.
How big are the monitors?
They're all 32s or 30s. 30s or 32s, something like that. Get this tight here.
I'm
See, I got to
definitely
do
going to have
something
to
on
get a
this
hold
side.
of
This
you
is always weird. Yeah, dude.
when I do this.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing, and Striker will agree with me. Go with an 80/20 rig. You have to go with the 80/20 because you can build off of them forever for the rest of its life. Don't I would not go inverted pedals because it feels weird. Other than having them down, since you're used to them down anyways, instead of having them sit up. Bunch of stupid little tips and tricks. If you don't have a stream deck, I'd buy a stream deck.
A
Do you have
button
one?
box? No, a button box is in the future.
So, can I angle this down? Hold on here. So there's my stream deck. So if you look, I don't know how clear you can see it, but like this is force feedback, the clear if I choose the wrong pit, fast repair, tow, and then here's all the different pit stops I can do. So
Nice.
like full fuel, 10, 5, etc. And full fuel, 2 tires, 10 gallons, 2 right, 2 left. And then I got, standings, all my black box shit. And then like this one's an expensive one because it has 10 pages, so I could just keep putting pages on here. But like, oops. So these are just cameras for broadcasting and shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, they're worth the money.
Triple minors first. Well, new pedals first, new wheel, and then might keep them old pedals. Then I'll do the triple monitors, and then from there, stream deck. Maybe upgrade to PC.
Get some butt kickers.
Yeah, definitely a butt kicker.
I went with, and Nate actually helped me with this, but I went with those Dayton Audios. It's such a cheaper route but the actual brand butt kicker is ungodly expensive. These things, they do the exact same thing, and I think, what were they, $100 each, $50 each, $50 to $100 each per kicker. But like all the little sub amps, those were like $20. And I just bought the wire and wired it up.
Nice.
It's way better. And then you just use SimHub. It'll be get the house first. That's probably
Yeah.
probably the best route to go.
We got to make her happy first.
Yeah, dude. I went through a different brand, racingcockpits.com. They do 80/20s that's just as good as your track racers, and they're cheaper. Like, so I think I was looking at the most heavy duty track racer I could find, and it was like $1,400 or $1,500, and I got this right at $1,000. So I saved $500.
Nice.
And then obviously the triples a little extra, and the quads a little extra, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, I got the exact same thing Stryker does with his track racer without the brand name. It's like Oreos Plus.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I think you gave us some good insight. Who you want to shout out?
Oh, well, I'd like to shout out to my farm, Dove Farm LLC. My old lady for letting me do what I do every week, and putting up with my crap, even after a bad race when I'm in a pissed off mood and don't want to talk to anybody. My family in general that supports me with everything I do, and just the whole Chop Shop community, and you for doing the podcast. It's awesome to get it done, and I've been barking at the bit to have you do it, and now I can finally go back and watch my own podcast, and it's going to be a fun season. What are we? Not even halfway in the Cup Series, getting down to nitty gritty in the trucks. Next season will be full time in the trucks, so it'll be different. And whatever other series we're on, I'm excited for the IndyCar SRX series coming with whatever else we're running in that series. That looks exciting. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, we appreciate you too. I was going to bring this up and I forgot, but what I'm trying to work toward is to do another series within the league with an iRating cap. I would like to do almost like a heart-to-heart over here would be the best way to do. And I would like our veteran drivers, your Nates, your Stricklands, your Hammonds, to act as coaches. Right. And it gives new people an opportunity to win races, win a championship. And most of all, it gets them prepared for... See, I would like to... let's just say we did an Xfinity Series fixed, but we followed the same schedule, the same tracks as the Cup Series, and say we put it on Thursdays, right? So you, me, whoever in our area, say 2,500 iRating cap, we would go to Xfinity, we'd race that race, and then the next day we'd be racing cups at that exact same track. What that does is it gets you familiar with the track. Obviously, the car is going to act different,
Oh yeah.
but the Xfinity car is more powerful than the Cup car is anyway, so it's going to help you with that throttle management. So when you go to the Cup Series, you're not a liability. It's actually given everybody, it's given the new guys that aren't as fast an edge to be better with the fast guys. I'm trying to do away with Sunday altogether. Now, I know you're excited for the SRX and all that fun stuff. That's not to say that we're going to get rid of it. We're going to stop doing it. It's just saying whether we either stop it at the end of the super lates and we start something like this, or we implement it when the next Cup Series starts. But I think there's enough new people in here and enough people with a low enough iRating, I think it'd be a success.
I think it'd be very successful. It'd help our lower end guys. The guys that aren't really running up front like
Us.
yeah, like us.
We're not.
But the guys that are further back than us, it even help them get better.
Yeah.
We can make the whole Cup Series as a whole a lot better. Like if they're running the Xfinity car, getting that experience for Fridays, you're gonna have less cautions on Fridays. It'll do a positive for both, I think,
I think so too.
and it'll make them guys that have the high rating and are fast have a little bit more competition. Maybe it might give us a chance to maybe sneak out a win or a top two. Maybe a top three, maybe different guys in the top three on the broadcast of signatures. You never know what you might get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless. I think with it, I know I brought it up to John. I brought it up to Striker. Striker's all for it. Um, John, John's really not against it. I mean, he's just like, oh, let me know what we're doing. You know,
Yeah,
he's kind of cool about that stuff. But I mean, we could even do it because our truck is our biggest draw. I mean, we could follow the truck schedule and do this race on Mondays, then do trucks Tuesdays, and just move dirt to Thursdays. You know what I mean? I do not. I don't think we need to be racing Saturdays or Sundays. I don't think so. I just think that's time that everybody can have to reflect. I think during the week, it would. I mean, it's hard, but it's not. But if anybody wanted to race anything outside the league, you got Saturday and Sunday to do it. There's tons of leagues that do Saturday and Sundays. Or you can just relax, man. Take it easy. Enjoy time with your family,
exactly.
whatever.
Sunday for a lot of people is a
That's my
different day.
NASCAR
Yeah,
day.
that's your NASCAR day.
I
I
want to sit, drink beer, and watch the race.
I hate that running super lates that they start when they do because of the fact that that's when the NASCAR race is on. I want to sit there with the old lady, drink a beer, and freaking maybe be cooking steak and watch the race.
And by the time we're done, there's like 30 laps to go. And
Exactly.
it's like, what did I miss? What's going on? So, I mean, that's why I didn't race it last week. I'm like, dude, I got to watch this race.
And you can't change your draft, your fantasy picks.
Yeah, because you're
Like
starting at the
you're like son of a bitch. I'm trying to change it. It's locked, and you know,
I
especially with you doing good in the fantasy and stuff.
dude, dude, don't get me wrong. I like the super lates. I thought it was a good idea. It's just
The popularity ain't there.
right. It's hard to drive them. It's not easy. The Gen 4s was fun, but it wasn't easy to do. So I like the idea of bringing the Xfinities back and having amateur drivers with an iRating cap in them with a fixed series because it drives like a cup car with a little more power. And I think you need to follow whatever schedule you want to mimic to a T. Same. I mean, the only difference is cut the laps down a little bit.
Yep.
Not a ton. Cut them down enough to where you're still forced to have green flag pit stops and do a tire wear, evaluation. Like you have to be smart with tires so you can move up, and then you do a longer race the next day.
Cut it like
Same track.
5%.
Mm-hmm. That way, they're done at a certain time. I think with new people there will be less cautions. I know it sounds stupid, but I think that'll happen. But that's what I want. I think it'll go well.
I would like to see that happen. I'm in full support of that.
So we'll see. We'll work on it. We'll figure it out. Anyways, I've held you up long enough. An hour and 40 minutes to be exact. As always, we appreciate you coming on. I'm going to give our shout outs, which is C2 Gaming, all our sponsors. C2 Gaming, My Three Sons, Track Racer, the Balla Status Boys, Speedy Trophies, they do our trucks. Admin Box, Geomax, they do our Dirt League. Virtual Velocity Racing, they do our Road Series. MCI Graphics does our Super Lates. Stay Tuned Sports, they are our Pole Award winners. And Chop Shop Podcast, baby.
Oh, one last thing.
Got the Cup Series.
One last thing. The Just Got Dove t-shirts go on sale at the end of the month. So make sure you get one if you want one. And yeah, that's breaking news that I've been waiting on. No, these are straight up out of my pocket.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a hold of you and get one.
I've got Just Got Dove t-shirts coming out. I've got company stuff coming out. Going to have a website up with all that. So if y'all are interested in any Dove Farm LLC merch, be welcome to grab it. It's actually pretty affordable.
I like it.
I'm putting it all out there. So that's the big breaking news that I wanted to share all week. Well, for the past 2 weeks, I've been keeping it hush. And I am actually starting my own podcast talking about farming and trucking starting at the end of the month. That'll be every Thursday night from 11 p.m. to midnight. So if y'all are interested in knowing a little bit more about farm and trucking and my life, that's what that's going to be about. And yeah.
Where's it going to be uploaded at?
It's going to be on YouTube, and I'm getting it on Spotify as well.
Well, how do they find it?
I'll have the link dropped. I'll drop it in the bottom of this video when it's all up.
Perfect. All right, you heard it here first. You want to
same with the t-shirt links.
You want a shirt that says "You just got doved"? Hit them up. Get one. I'll get one. I got you. I'll support it. I've been doved.
I think just about everybody's been doved in this league. Just about.
Striker needs like 6 of them.
Striker's overdue, I think. If it comes down to me battling Striker at any point for the lead, there's a chance.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we'll hit it up. We'll watch it. We'll see what happens. Good luck with it.
Appreciate you.
All right. We're out of here, folks. Thanks for joining us for another episode, Chopping It Up. Brad Dove.